Rodgric. I didn't know that this was more of like a poetry slam. I thought it was more like comedy. So, I'll do it again next time. I got some poetry from back in the day. I'm going to try to go through. So, I was afraid. I was very afraid when I first went to heaven. I knocked on the gate before, but that's to be expected of a young God. I remember being there, but it was different this time. It was like returning to the same galaxy, just not the same planet. God held me, but she didn't ramble about what to do. She knew how to handle a young guru who knew how to handle himself, even though the first time it felt like I was looking at a poster of Niagara Falls all this time. I thought it was real, that is, until I swam in the waters of noon. Herself. God gave mercy on my soul. At that moment I got old, I died and came back. I knew what to do, now I know why heaven's on earth and God controls it. And I'm in the tabernacle of Moses, I'm chosen. Okay, let's see. This one's gonna get a little radical. So, a real nigga doesn't have an origin, mindless as to where he came from. The inbred fruit of America's sinister stereotypes created by media monsters and blind leaders. Having a homeless mentality, he lives in a box that his mind can't break because his heart isn't brave enough to. Lacking ambition, he clings to the breast of America, sucking every ounce of milk he can get instead of drinking from the fountain of ambition. Twisted mind frame, he blames the concrete around him for his wilted petals instead of breaking the illusion of curse and blossoming through the cracks in the concrete plan. Swallowed by laziness, he's content with the way things are instead of striving for the way things should be. Blinded by false dreams and visions, he never wakes up from his comfortable sleep because America gives him a blanket and a bed made of straw. America gives him a chain, tall rims on his car to satisfy his thirst for what he thinks is wealth. Even the educated real nigga is seen as fake in his brother's eyes, success in his mother's eyes, and a guinea pig in the pig's eyes. Blaming the white man for every flaw that he does so that he soothes himself from self-pity. That the real nigga is the weak-hearted and weak-minded clone of the warriors that led the riots and revolutions. The real nigga is an oxymoron, absent from how life really is because he's living in a fake fantasy, American dream. Absent from the knowledge that makes him a king, the original man, God's image. The real nigga is a caged bird, seeking for food, thinking he is free, flying around his cage, not knowing the true extent of his wings, making babies instead of building sons and daughters, building incomplete homes where the concept of family is redefined to not include the father, but to include a makeshift clone who uses fashion and fast food to symbolize his love. The child of a real nigga might get a check every month if the mother doesn't use it for her hair and nails. The real nigga picks from the imaginary money tree in the garden of exploitation and uses his hoe as a tool to dig deeper into the soil of statistics. The real nigga is ignorant to death, shiftless at best, brainwashed to the point where he doesn't even appreciate the blessing of his own breath. A real nigga follows in the footsteps of the misguided, respecting the television set more than his parents, mimicking and memorizing the latest rap song to prove his false identity. When a real nigga starts to ask questions, he looks both ways in confusion that can only resort to the church with the blonde-haired and blue-eyed because he doesn't know that the strongest temple is his own. So he is therefore even more manipulated to submit to the tricks to the white magician, giving his last dollar to the rich preacher in hopes of his own bills being paid next week, in hopes of his own admission to the mysterious land of so-called heaven, not knowing that heaven resides in his heart. God rests upon his soul. The real nigga is the direct offspring of the influence of the government, testament, entertainment, too lazy to create his own opinion. He's a victim of groupthink, a sheep in the pasture that only does what he's forced to do, eats only what is given to him, and never looks up to see what is around him. A real nigga puts on the ski mask of violence and robs himself of emotions for fear of being thought of as weak, not knowing that the invisible cloak that he puts on is a product of fear. Instead of being true to himself, a real nigga is a mirror image of perceptions that his homeboys place on him, and vice versa. Confused of his essence, he lives how he thinks he's supposed to live, based off of plastic standards of morality made by his generation. The real nigga turns his smile upside down into a frown, ignoring the crown that was once on his head. The real nigga is of a different breed, strong with his fist but weak with his mind, not knowing that the only way to win his battle is to fight with weapons of mass knowledge. The real nigga's ambition goes as far as his neighborhood, so he decides to sell white for the white, killing the black, calls his place of business a trap, ignoring the apparent meaning of this word and knowingly falling into a cycle, a one-way road, a trap, sending him either prison or death. Both destinations he loses his life. For the ones who do get out, most resort back to the trap that got them down in the first place, like a mouse to a piece of cheese. The real nigga is attracted to America's new slavery system, the prison, and some hope to get there in hopes of receiving street credit instead of school credit. The real nigga is the modern-day slave with chains taken off his feet, placed on his subconscious mind. The experiment that the infernal founders of this new America started in is the proof that it worked. The real nigga is his own enemy, finding faults in a brother with the same eyes, ears and knows is him, not open-minded enough to see the manipulation that is placed in us music and other media. A real nigga despises a white man calling him a nigga, but calls himself the same thing. A real nigga is a show to the audience of this corrupted country, killing his own brother and not bothering to kill the lies that lie around him. But the revolution will be televised. The real nigga needs to be saved, but not by Jesus Christ, but by himself. He needs to find a real man in him before it's too late, before it's snatched away from him and is lost forever, never to be found again. Before this new breed of original man dilutes the blood of the line of the real men who are left, we have to revive them. We have to defend ourselves, not the American dream. A real nigga doesn't have an origin, but a real man knows his destination.
Wow, that was a great, excellent, and deep poem for the first time newcomer. So please, Rodgric, come back. Let's have another round of applause for Rodgric. Are you ready? Okay, now one of the hosts of the open mic is